Thanks for checking out this movie review video. This is for the 2023 film It's a Wonderful Knife. It's a Shudder exclusive and it's coming to Shudder on Friday, December 1st. And I'm just going to say off the bat, I enjoyed this film quite a bit. If you're a fan of slashers and if you're a fan of holiday horror, this is a film for you, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are going to be talking about this when it comes out. A lot of people are going to like this. Now, this is a no spoiler review, although at the very end, I will make a comparison to some films that I feel like this is kind of a mashup of. One will be pretty obvious. Well, a few might be obvious, but I'll give people a warning before I say that, because if you want to stop at that point, but it's no spoiler up until that point. But let's get into It's a Wonderful Knife. Directed by Tyler MacIntyre, who also did Patchwork, Tragedy Girls, and the segment of VHS 99 called The Gawkers. When I saw that he directed this, I was immediately excited. I think Patchwork is really good. I think Tragedy Girls is really good. So I was very interested to check out this one. So for me now, everything I've seen from Tyler MacIntyre, I'm into. I like it. So he is definitely a director who I will just keep looking to. Every time they have something new come out, I'm going to want to check it out. Written by Michael Kennedy, who wrote some episodes of the show Border Town, as well as the film Freaky, which I also enjoyed. Freaky, I saw it, was that 2019 it came out or something? Somewhere in there. That was a lot of fun with Vince Vaughn, good horror comedy, and this one is a horror comedy, so there's a lot of script-wise similarities between Freaky and It's a Wonderful Knife. So if you're familiar with Freaky, you'll feel very much the same with It's a Wonderful Knife, at least writing-wise. Justin Long, Joel McHale, and Catherine Isabel are in the cast, which as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, Tyler MacIntyre got me excited. Then I saw this cast, Justin Long, Joel McHale, and Catherine Isabel, and I was like, yes. Wow. If some people don't know, Catherine Isabel was in Ginger Snaps and American Mary, so haven't really seen her in anything in quite a while. The other thing is I really like Joel McHale. I'm a big fan. I especially love his role in the movie Assassination Nation, which is very, very underrated. And obviously, a lot of people in horror love Justin Long, me included. And his character in this, I just have to say, I love his character in this. It is the best character, period. Just, it's kind of like goofy and fun and funny. And you can tell he had a good time in this role. And that's great. Again, Shudder exclusive coming Friday, December 1st. Synopsis. I don't want to give too much away, but it's about a town that has a problem with a slasher, and it's Christmas time. One of the wonderful things about this is, if you're looking for holiday horror, it steeps itself in Christmas immediately. It steeps itself in Christmas all the way throughout. Think like a Hallmark Christmas movie, how it's so Christmassy all the way through. This is like that. I don't think I've ever seen a horror Christmas movie that is this Christmassy, honestly, like with all the decorations and just making you feel it the whole time. So kudos on that. So if you want to feel cozy in this time of year and you also want to be watching some really good horror, this is it. I don't want to say too much. It's about the town's called Angel Falls. It's about a slasher issue. I don't want to go any further than that. It is a horror comedy. I think that's all you need to know. Check it out. They hit you with the comedy immediately. They also hit you with the Christmas setting immediately. Both of those things are very well established, and both of those things, I think, work quite well throughout the film. Now, the comedy isn't a whole lot of, like, laugh out loud funny, at least for me personally. But there were definitely enough decent moments of the humor for me to be like, oh, I like that. Oh, that kind of landed for me. That was decent. It's a little more low-key. But I enjoyed it. Again, Justin Long's character is ridiculous, but so much fun. So much fun. I know there's so many people out there who, like, if you know Justin Long is in a movie, you're going to see it. This is definitely worth it for that. It has I was referencing Hallmark Christmas movies before. It actually has a feel and look like a Hallmark Christmas movie in the beginning. Part of that being, the very distinct Christmassiness of it, but also it just has to do with kind of like the feel of the dialogue and the characters and how they set up the town and all that type of stuff. So I don't watch a lot of those movies. I just happen to be around when my wife watches them, but some of them not terrible, a lot of them pretty terrible. The appearance of the killer in this is pretty cool. I did like it. It's nothing like super elaborate, but it is an interesting concept. It works really well for tying into the overall story. And yeah, I like the appearance. I like what they were able to come up with costume wise for the killer. And that's a big thing with slashers. Like, how does the killer look? At least for me, it is. And I know that it's the same for a lot of other people. So I think the killer looks cool. I enjoyed that aspect of it. It does not take long before the slaying gets underway, which is great. The pacing for the most part of this movie is quite good. I think it moves. Unfortunately, as it gets towards the end of the film, it really does seem to slow down too much, in my opinion. It has great movement until that point. It's just very unfortunate because, going into the end of the film is kind of when you want it to be picking up more, but I think it's kind of this contrast of it was moving at such a good pace and then it gets towards the end and then it slows down more and then you're kind of like, oh, the pacing's not as good now. It kind of like messes you up, kind of makes you feel a little bit bored towards the end, unfortunately, although the ending itself is pretty good. So just a minor issue there, in my opinion. There is a pretty early reveal in the movie that kind of makes you wonder where it's going from there. I didn't see it coming that they would end up doing what they did, and that just threw me totally off because I thought like, oh, this is just going to be this way, and I see where we're going with this, and then they did something, and I was just like, now I'm like all thrown off. Like, what are the rules of this? I thought this was going to kind of fit into a box of stuff I've already seen before, and now I don't really know what to expect. And I love when filmmakers do that, where they get you to settle into a certain mindset, and then they're just kind of like, boom, I'm going to hit you with something to make you feel like, no, I'm wrong about where I think this is going. And that's wonderful. You want to keep guessing. You want more interest injected into these types of films. This is obviously highly inspired by some other films, but it's still unique. It's still its own thing. It kind of like twists those things around and does it its own way. And that's a great way to be heavily inspired by other films, to take from other films, but also feel like you're fresh and you're unique. So I think that's done quite well. There are too many other movies out there where it's like, you could just tell they were just trying to make the same movie, basically, but not as interesting. And this is not that. You can tell this movie is heavily inspired by popular slashers. There is some decent humor, like I was saying. There's also some decent gore in it. They didn't go as far as I wanted them to with the kills and the gore, but there is some decent gore and some decent kills to it. There is one kill in particular, I think it's the very first one, where it didn't look like it was executed very well, unfortunately. Because there's separation, like too much separation between the character and the knife. I'll just say it's a knife. And you could just tell that like it wasn't close enough to the person. And then there's blood, and you're just like, oh, that actually didn't look very good. But after that, I think it starts to look a lot better. So, but just a small thing. Would have liked some bigger practical effects. I guess they probably just did not have the budget for that, but just something I wished for. There's a good integration of Christmas music into the score, which I didn't see coming. I mean, it makes sense because this is a Christmas slasher, but I didn't see it coming that they would integrate so much existing Christmas music into the score. And they don't do it in like just an overt ridiculous way. They do it in it's like a little more covert. So like you don't, unless you're paying a little bit more attention, you wouldn't necessarily know that they're kind of integrating it into the score. And it just goes really well with the rest of the score. They just kind of like seamlessly put it in there. It's in there for a little bit and then it's kind of gone and back to the regular score. So nice score. And I like what they did there. Very creative. It does a good job of keeping moving, but does slow down towards the end too much. Yeah, that is my biggest issue with the film. I think that and the kills and the gore isn't enough, in my opinion, for a slasher. But decent still. But I did quite like the movie. I definitely really liked it. I'm just going to tell you right now, out of 5 stars, half stars in play, I'm going to give it a very good 3.5-star rating. That is good for what I give ratings. But it's definitely up there for horror movies for 2023. So I'm really glad I saw this. I hope a lot of people enjoy it. And this would be everyone's time to pause or stop the video if you don't want the movie comparison from me. Otherwise, stick around. All right, so all those people should be gone. I feel like this film is a mashup of Scream, Freaky, and It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, the It's a Wonderful Life thing is very obvious because of what the title of this film is, but Scream and Freaky, and it wears those on its sleeve. You know, it's very self-aware about that type of stuff. So, but yeah, I do like this film. Highly recommend it. Would love to hear other people's opinions on it. If you've seen it at this point, go ahead and put it in the comments. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, or in between. Just give me like a sentence or two letting me know why, because I'm always interested in other people's opinions on film, and, you know, just get an idea of maybe what people feel like I missed in my experience of the film. So it's just a good way to kind of share different views on films, and it's always interesting. But regardless, thanks everyone for checking this out. Please do me a favor and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That is the best way to repay me for all the free content I'm putting out. Please like this video. That is also a way to repay me. And you can hit the notification bell button if you want to know when I'm putting up new videos, because if you watch a video when it hits YouTube relatively early, it does help with the algorithm, as does the liking of the video. So I do appreciate those things. But again, thank you very much for watching this video, and until next time, keep it brutal.